Given what you've just explained, I'm sure that must be the reason why they called you. So it's indeed there for the Budget and Appropriations Committee. We should give a report guiding or advising on how to proceed, whether the bill should go to publication, and if not, the reasons.
Well, Honorable Speaker, I was caught aback because this is something that began in the year 2018, and I reckon we had 2019 almost lost due to the pandemic. But I think 2018 I was hearing about certain private members' bills enacted or rather proposed in the year 2019. So how my bill was overtaken so easily by other private members' bills remains a bizarre to me, Honorable Speaker, and I'm puzzled to that extent.
Then the clerk will find out, maybe Mr. Dombi, find out what has become of that legislative proposal.
Thank you.
On amendment to the
Health Amendment Act.
Health Amendment Act, yeah.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Next order. But sorry, I can see the Honorable Kemosi. Your hand is up. What is the issue?
Honorable Speaker, I want to first of all thank you for appointing me to chair the committee, to be the vice chair of the Committee of Powers and Privileges, and I want to thank you, Honorable Speaker. That is a big honor. Secondly, Honorable Speaker, in the year 2018, Honorable Speaker, I also gave a proposal on appeal to amend the Constitution, Honorable Speaker, and that particular bill was read in this House for the first time, Honorable Speaker, in November 2019. Subsequently, Honorable Speaker, I've been trying to follow up with that bill because currently is in the Committee of Justice and Legal Affairs Committee, and since last year, for over 15 months, Honorable Speaker, it has been awaiting to go through the public participation. I'm unable to find reason why it's not moving, and the gist of that, Honorable Speaker, although some of the provisions that I proposed were captured in the PPI, which must have slowed the process, I'm requesting your kind intervention, Honorable Speaker, if this bill will be expedited, since the PPI, you see now, nobody knows the way forward for PPI. So in the event we don't have our PPI, this particular bill will address some of the issues that I proposed for amendment. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
Fortunately, the person who is in charge is right behind you, the Honorable TJ Kajuan, the Vice Chair of JLAC. Honorable Kajuan, what can you say about the Honorable Kemosi's bill to amend the Constitution?
Mr. Speaker, sir, we took you seriously yesterday when you issued the Speaker's communication from the Chair, and in which communication several bills were listed as pending before the JLA Committee. We have so far made very urgent arrangements to make sure that these bills are progressed and processed, with emphasis on individual members' bills. I am sure that this is one of those. I have seen the catalogue of those bills pending. One of them is this to do with the public participation. We recognize the enormity and the importance of that bill, because public participation is a wild animal that everybody else has spoken about. And now that someone is attempting to make a legislative proposal around it, we are very keen to process that. We have expressed our regret that it was not brought as early as the member would have wished, but we can assure him that after the recess, it will be one of the bills that will be before the Assembly to process. So my friend can rest be assured that that will be done. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker.
Very well. I think let's now deal with the business appear now on the order paper.
Order number 8, The Assisted Reproductive Technology Bill, National Assembly Bill number 34 of 2019. Question to be put.
Honourable members, as per the record, this debate on this bill was concluded as second reading. What remains is for the question to be put, which I hereby do, that the Assisted Reproductive Technology Bill, National Assembly Bill number 34 of 2019, be now read a second time. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Will as many as of contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to provide for the regulation of assisted reproductive technology, to prohibit certain practices in connection with assisted reproductive technology, to establish an assisted reproductive technology authority, to make provision in relation to children born of assisted reproductive technology processes and for connected purposes.
Next order.
Order number 9, procedural motion, extension of time for consideration of specified petitions.
The Chairman, Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock, Honorable Tiren.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. I'm here. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. We are seeking for extension of a time of consideration for specified petitions.
Move the motion.
Thank you. I beg to move that notwithstanding the provision of Standing Orders 2272, Committal of Petitions, this House resolves to extend the period of consideration of the public petitions specified hereunder, which are before the Departmental Committee of Agriculture, Livestock, and for a further of 60 days with effect from 9th July 2021. The petitions are: number 1, public petition regarding revival of Kenya Cashew Nuts Factory, presented by member of Kilifi North, Honorable Owen Baya, MP. The second one, public petition regarding development of marketing of Miraa, presented by member of Igembe South, Honorable John Paul Mwirigi, MP. The third one, public petition regarding safeguarding of public interest in the use of Kangatia tea farm land in Kirinyaga County to establish a Japanese specialty green tea production factory by KDDA, presented by member of Kirinyaga Central, Honorable John Munene, MP. And the final one is public petition regarding transfer of oversight of Kenya Leather Development Council, presented by member of Kajiado North, Honorable Joseph Manje. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The committee already met various stakeholders in consideration of the above petitions, but requires further engagement to exhaustively cover the issues reasoned thereon. Further, the following factors prevailed. As you are aware, Honorable Speaker, issues of COVID affected the committee meetings and proposed inspection visits. Consideration of budget estimates for the financial year 2021-2022 and supplementary budget estimates, which needed to be prioritized over the other committee business. Honorable Speaker, the committee concluded deliberations with sugar bill, which took much of our time as well, but we were able to clear with it. So the committee has prioritized consideration of the petitions during the short recess so that we are able to move forward. I therefore humbly request the House to extend for an extension of a period of consideration of the petitions by additional 60 days, effective 9 July 2021. I beg to move and request Honorable Chris Wamalwa to second. Thank you.
Honorable Wamalwa.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to second this motion that the House considers that the House extends the listed business, Mr. Speaker, for the Agriculture Committee. This is because, Mr. Speaker, some of the field visits that had been organized and there was already an itinerary. Then there was that interruption, Mr. Speaker, because of the pandemic issue of the coronavirus, Mr. Speaker. And also, Mr. Speaker, as my chairman has clearly put it, they prioritized the business of the budget estimates, and that's why it was delayed. So it is in order, Mr. Speaker, that we humbly request this House, and being a procedural motion, to grant the extension. I thank you, and I beg to second.
Under Leader Majority and the member for Taita Taveta. Members, I propose a question, which is that notwithstanding the provisions of standing under 227 subsection 2 relating to committee of petitions, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the public petitions specified hereunder, which are before the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock, by a further period of 60 days with effect from 9th of July 2021. First being the public petition regarding revival of the Kenya Cashew Nut Factory, presented by the member for Kilifi North, the Honorable Owen Baya MP. Number 2, public petition regarding development and marketing of miraa, presented by the member for Igembe South, the Honorable John Paul Mwirigi MP. Third, being the public petition regarding safeguarding of the public interest in the use of Kangaita Tea Farm land in Kirinyaga County to establish a Japanese specialty green tea production factory by KTDA, presented by the member for Kirinyaga Central, the Honorable John Munene MP. And fourthly, the public petition regarding transfer of oversight of the Kenya Leather Development Council, presented by the member for Kajiado North, the Honorable John Manje MP. I put the question, which is that notwithstanding the provision standing under 227 subsection 2 relating to committee of petitions, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the public petitions as read out, which are lying before the Departmental Committee on Agriculture and Livestock by a further period of 60 days with effect from 9th of July 2021. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable Kareke Mbiuki, similar motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to move the following motion that pursuant that notwithstanding the provision of standing order number 2272, Committee of Petitions, this House resolved to extend the period of considerations of the public petitions specified hereunder, which are before the Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, by a further period of 60 days with effect from 13th July 2021. 1. Petition, public petition regarding safeguarding of public interest in climate action awareness campaign to increase forest cover and fight deforestation, presented by the Honorable Member for Inaboi, Honorable William Chepkuti, MP. And number 2, Mr. Speaker, public petition regarding encroachment and grabbing of public land and water catchment areas in the Igembe Central constituency, presented by the Honorable Member for Igembe Central, the Honorable Kubai Ilingo, MP. Mr. Speaker, due to the current situation which this House is facing, especially the issues of COVID restriction, the committee could not be able to dispense off with these petitions in time. And bearing in mind, Mr. Speaker, for the last 30 days or thereabout, this House has been prosecuting the issues of the budget, the main budget, the supplementary budget 1 and supplementary budget 2. And since, Mr. Speaker, we were not able to complete the process in time. Mr. Speaker, we have engaged the various stakeholders and most of the petitioners on the same. But unfortunately, Mr. Speaker, bearing in mind that we are also going on recess, then the 60 days are going to lapse before we are able to complete this process, Mr. Speaker. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, it is due to these reasons, Mr. Speaker, we are requesting this House to consider extending the prosecution of these petition by the further 60 days. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move and request the Honorable Chachu Nganya to second. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Honorable Chachu Nganya.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I beg to second. And for sure, as a committee, we have really been engaged. It's a lot in our tray. And for these reasons, we have not been able to meet the necessary deadline, but we do promise to do our best and engage and give the feedback in due course. I beg to second.
The flowery, gracious lady, I believe, given that attire, you must be. Honour members, I propose the question, which is that notwithstanding the provision standing under 227, subsection 2, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the public petitions specified hereunder, which are before the Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resources, by a further period of 60 days with effect from 13th July 2021. Number 1, public petition regarding safeguarding of public interest in the climate action awareness campaign to increase forest cover and fight deforestation, presented by the member for Ainapkoi, the Honorable William Chepkut MP, and the public petition regarding encroachment and grabbing of public land and water catchment areas in Igembe Central constituency, presented by the member for Igembe Central, the Honorable Kubai Iringo, MP. That is how the House I put the question. I put the question, which is notwithstanding the provision standing under 227, subsection 2, this House resolves to extend the period for consideration of the public petitions specified hereunder, which are before the Departmental Committee on Environment and Natural Resources by a further period of 60 days with effect from 13th of July 2021. Public petition by the Honorable William Chepkut and the public petition by the Honorable Kubai Iringo. Will as many as of that opinion say aye? Aye. As many of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. But honestly, it's fair that the committees that have gotten extensions also do get, we appreciate, of course, that there has been the issue of the two supplementary estimates, budgets that have been brought on of course, the main budget. But at least now, this time, prioritize, since the petitions are also brought by colleagues, in fact, the 6 of them, that by the time we resume, if possible, try to bring some reports. Next order.
Order number 10, procedural motion. Consideration of certain business received during the July to August 2021 short recess.
Leader of the Majority Party.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that, notwithstanding the provisions of Standing Order number 120, 122, and 126 relating to publication, procedure upon publication, and first readings of bills, and Standing Order number 210-2 relating to tabling of statutory instruments, this House orders that during the period of the July to August recess, which is 9th of July to 2nd of August 2021, number 1, should a bill be published during the said period, or a published bill become due for first reading during the period, the Speaker shall, upon lapse of at least 7 days following the publication of the bill, the fulfillment of the provisions of Article 110(3) of the Constitution, and following a determination that such bill is of priority, forthwith refer the bill to the relevant committee for consideration pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 127, Committee of Bills to Committees and Public Participation. And upon resumption of the House, cause the bill to be read a first time and the second reading may be taken forthwith or on such other day as the House Business Committee may determine. Number 2, should any statutory instrument be transmitted for tabling before the House during the period, the Speaker shall, following a determination the statutory instrument is of priority, forthwith refer the statutory instrument to the relevant committee for consideration and cause the statutory instrument to be tabled in the House during its next sitting in accordance with the provisions of Section 11 of the Statutory Instruments Act number 3 of 2013. And should any paper be transmitted for tabling before the House during the period, the Speaker shall, following a determination that the paper is of priority, forthwith refer the paper to the relevant committee for consideration and cause the paper to be tabled in the House during its next sitting. Honorable Speaker, this is a routine motion that we we ask the House to pass to cover the processing of business when we are away, so that we don't lose any time in processing while waiting for a bill to be read a first time, then it's committed to a committee, because we will not be there in the House. So that during those 3 weeks, any business, just for clarity to the members, is if any bill comes, after 7 days, it automatically will be referred to a committee, and it will be processed, and we'll then take it from there when we come back. Same thing with the statutory instruments, and similarly for any papers that need to be transmitted to a committee. And we already covered for notices from Senate in an earlier motion that was approved by this House, so that does not apply in this case. Again, members, this is a straightforward matter that we do to cover ourselves during this period. I beg to move and ask the Leader of Minority to second.
Leader of Minority.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Straightforward, as the Leader of Majority has said it. I don't think there's anything much to add. We are going on recess, and we just want to make things simple when we are on recess, so that issues that can easily be dealt with administratively through your office are dealt with, and when we come back, they will have moved forward. Mr. Speaker, nothing much to say. I second.
Maybe you can consult a little later. Other members, you've heard the nature of the motion. I propose a question, which is that notwithstanding the provision standing on as 120, 122, and 126 relating to publication, procedure upon publication, and first reading of bills, and standing under 210, subsection 2, relating to tabling of statutory instruments, this House orders that during the period of the July-August, that is 9th of July to 2nd of August 2021, should a bill be published during the same period, or a published bill becomes due for first reading during the period, the Speaker shall, upon lapse of at least 7 days following the publication of the bill, the fulfillment of the provisions of Article 110(3) of the Constitution, and following a determination that such bill is of priority, forthwith refer the bill to the relevant committee for consideration, pursuant to the provision standing under 127, and upon resumption of the House, cause the bill to be read a first time, and the second reading may be taken forthwith or on such other day as the House Business Committee may determine. 2, should any statutory instrument be transmitted for tabling before the House during the period, the Speaker shall, following a determination that the statutory instrument is of priority, forthwith refer the same statutory instrument to the relevant committee for consideration, and cause the statutory instrument to be tabled in the House during its next sitting in accordance with the provisions of Section 11 of the Statutory Instruments Act, number 3 of 2013. And 3, should any paper be transmitted for tabling before the House during the period, the Speaker shall, following a determination that the paper is of priority, forthwith refer the paper to the relevant committee for consideration, and cause the paper to be tabled in the House during its next sitting. What's your point of order, Honorable Amalo?
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, I rise to seek your direction pertaining this procedure motion, cognizant of the fact that we have the selection panel, Mr. Speaker, that is interviewing the IBC commissioners. And any given time, once they finish, obviously it has to come to the jailer committee. So I'm looking at whether it's been taken care of, because Roman 1 is pertaining the bills, Roman 2, statutory instruments, they are not, and Roman 3 is about the paper. So I thought, is it taken care of under the paper, or we amend and say communication? So I seek your direction to
under the paper.
I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah. Therefore, honourable members, put the question, which is notwithstanding the provision standing under 120, 122, and 126, relating to publication, procedure upon publication. Honourable Emilio Odhiambo, if we could have one meeting. Procedure upon publication and first reading of bills, and Standing Order 210, subsection 2, relating to tabling of statutory instruments, this House orders that during the period of the July-August, between 9th of July and 2nd of August 2021, that should any of these bills or papers or statutory instruments be tabled, the motion be carried. Will as many as that opinion say aye? Aye. As many as contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Now, yes, before we go to the next one and receive some intimation.
Thank you, Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I raise to seek your indulgence in request for deferment of the business appearing as order paper number 11, 1A, being consideration in committee of the whole House of the Public Service Commission Amendment Bill number 27 of 2019. Honorable Speaker, the reason for this request is to allow for further consultation with the stakeholders to ensure that every aspect intended is considered. I thank you, Honorable Speaker.
I think, honourable members, the request is a fair one. It's a straightforward one. It's good to allow for the member who is the mover of the proposed amendment. So the request is acceded to, and that part of the business appearing as order number 11, Roman 1, is therefore taken out and or deferred to the next time, as the House Business Committee may prioritize. But that also, of course, helps us to deal with the business by the Honorable Peter Kaluma when you go into committee, and also for the people interested in the sugar bill. It has a balance of 1 hour 48 minutes. So I think it's good that that bill now debate on that bill be concluded, and therefore call for the next order.
Order number 11, Committee of the Whole House.
Who's doing that? Yeah. Oh, okay. So, who's doing this? Zimai. Order members, we now in the Committee of the Whole House on this particular bill, the Law of Succession Amendment Bill 2019, and Honorable Peter Kaluma is the man of the moment. Yes.
Clause 3.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 3 be part of the bill. We have an amendment by Honorable Kaluma. Clause 3. You may move the amendment to clause 3.
Yes, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker.
And in the amended form, I am aware that
yes,
there is in an amended form as approved by the Speaker.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that clause 3 of the bill be amended in the amended form. Honorable Speaker, and that is at sub-clause 2, to read that a person not listed under subsection 1 may qualify as a dependent for purposes of this part if the person satisfies the court that he or she cohabited with the deceased for a period of at least 7 years prior to the deceased's death. Honorable Speaker, if I would be allowed to make a further amendment there, it is 3 years. 3 years prior to the deceased's death.
Order, Karuma, are you saying over and above what is you're moving? In the amended form, you want to do still a further?
7 to 3.
Okay.
I've consulted. It's a family matter. We buy in when it
that's is. That's fine, but I'll need it written after that, so that then it is on record. But please proceed.
Yes. B is reputed by the family of the deceased as having been in such cohabitation and was being maintained by the deceased prior to his or her death. Honorable Speaker, this amendment is informed by the contributions made on the floor. I'm abandoning the initial amendments because on consultations they don't change anything much in terms of how the law has been approaching the matter. But Honorable Speaker, in as much as we are defining spouse to have the definition given to it in the Marriage Act, we also don't want to completely shut out people who may not have formalized marriages and are recognized even by the deceased families as people who can, by law and under the law, benefit from the property of the deceased. So I'm balancing the need to keep the marriage, but also allow persons who are in lawful, who should be lawful dependents, like people who did not just formalize their marriage before death, to also benefit from the deceased, so long as the party was introduced to the family of the deceased. Honorable Speaker, I beg to move.
What is out of order, Honorable Mili?
Thank you, Chair. Chair, just to guide us, I really don't have a problem with Honorable what Kaluma is saying in the last bit of moving the cohabitation from 7 to 3. Or it would even have been better if it was 2. But that's not the issue. I heard when you are starting, you indicated that he's going to move his amendment in the form that is approved by the Speaker. And Chair, I don't seem to have that. Is it possible so that we move together so that we know what we are dealing with? Because it seems like he's only moving one item out of his bill. Does that mean that all the other previous amendments are withdrawn? I think we need clarity whether all the other amendments are withdrawn, so that the only thing that now is seeking clarity on is a situation where you have cohabitees. I hope it's clear.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I started by indicating that the amendments which are indicated on the order paper all stand withdrawn. There was a subsequent amendment approved by the Speaker. And Honorable Speaker, I'm told that they are being circulated. I'm sorry, Honorable Mili, this is coming late. So that we have only one amendment affecting sub-clause 2.
That's a bill. That's fair. Honorable Kaluma, you did actually my work.
Yes.
By actually directing the Sergeant at Arms to circulate. Indeed, that is what is fair. So the members have a copy, so that then we move together. Honorable Chris, is it on the same? Is it you want to contribute, or is an issue of?
Do you have it already? Yes, sir.
No. If it's about contribution, let me propose. Let me propose first, Honorable Chris, then I give you a chance. I thought you are still raising the same issue. Honorable members, I will propose a question that clause 3 be amended as proposed by Honorable Kaluma. I can tell there is quite a bit of interest on this. We'll give a few. Honorable Chris.
Thank you, Chairman, for this opportunity. I remember I seconded this bill when Honorable Kaluma moved it, and Honorable Kaluma, as Honorable Mili has clearly put it, the circulated version, Mr. Chairman, it is showing at least 7 years. So I'm assuming you had allowed him to be changed from 7 to 3. Further amendment. Now, some of us feel the 3 years are too long. We should reduce to 2 years, Mr. Speaker, so that so long as we have seen these cases. I remember last time in the Marriage Act in the last Parliament, which was being moved by Honorable Nyokabi, it was actually 6 months. And I was just talking to Honorable Mili, reminding her in the last Parliament. So really, it was actually 6 months. So if we go for 3 years, Mr. Speaker, this is too long. I think we should reduce it to 2 years. We also have some people, Mr. Speaker, we also have some families that can be together, and maybe because of financial constraints. And they are already
Honorable Chris, Honorable TJ Kajwang, what is out of order?
It was 6 months.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I just rise on point of order on procedure. We are doing well, but there is one procedure that we seem not to be getting all the time. This is the procedure of further amendment. It denies us debate on the issues which are subject to further amendment. I would have expected Honorable Kaluma to move his amendment as has been written on the paper. Then after that, he should rise to propose a further amendment, and then we subject this further amendment to debate, because you can see that there is interest from members, including member from Kimilili, that we need to investigate this issue of how many years or how many months. Yes, can we get the order right, first of all, by Honorable Kaluma pronouncing himself as is in the paper that he has given. Then he should rise positively and say what is his further amendment. Then that further amendment, first of all, we debate on it, we finish it, and then we go back to the original amendment as proposed. Mr. Speaker, sir, I ask that we go back to the procedure.
Well, Honorable Kaluma, even before he moved, he had actually not moved the very first one. He actually, when he stood, said he would like to move it now afresh, and that is why I have signed it. Is it the 3 years, Honorable Kaluma? So what is on the floor is actually what he referred as further amendment, because I allowed it, and that I have approved. But Honorable Chris, as Honorable Kaluma is, Honorable TJ Kajwang is saying, if you have a further amendment, we must deal with Honorable Kaluma's first. So we have Honorable Kaluma's on the floor as we speak. But before I get to my right, let me give Minority Leader, Honorable Minority Leader.
Chairman, maybe I'm a bit confused, but personally I'm so much against this opening space for a lot of litigation in matter of succession, where you now want to bring in those who have been cohabiting. If you want to marry when you are alive and have as many wives as you can. This idea of looking for shortcuts, we are creating space for people to go to court. Your dependents are suffering. The courts will take forever just because we have created some space in law for cohabitation, people cohabiting, whether it is for 1 year, 3 years, it doesn't matter. For me, we need to be very clear and put it in law that you marry. If you want to marry, marry. If you have not married, please keep those your other issues away. If you allow yourself to be misused until someone dies, don't claim anything from that estate. If someone who loves you should marry you if you want to stay with him. If not, enjoy when it lasts. I mean, Mr. Speaker, I'm against the whole thing. I don't know how I can now oppose the whole thing. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I oppose.
Let's have Honorable Sankoko and Honorable Opondo Kaluma. It is important to listen to what members are saying, because I'll give you a chance to speak to the same amendment at the end.
Honorable Speaker, thank you very much. Honorable Chair, thank you for giving me this opportunity. And Honorable Chair, the Minority Leader, Honorable Mbadi, had stolen words from my mouth, Honorable Speaker, because we are opening up litigation, Honorable Speaker. It is not a must for you to have a very expensive wedding. If somebody loves someone, even if after 3 months, they can as well have a wedding in the AG chambers. They can have the marriage certificate using even 100 shillings. So, Honorable Speaker, for me, I ask the members of this House, we reject this completely. Completely reject it and throw it out because we are opening litigation. Okay. If you are loved, you'll be married. If you are not married, then you are not needed. And if somebody did not love you in life, he will not love you in death. So just keep off.
Okay, very well. Honorable Owino.
Thank you, Chair. I want Honorable Kaluma to listen to this, Chair. Number B is talking about reputation. Chair, how do you qualify reputation in a family? They are going to disagree there, and that is what my minority leader was talking about as litigation. Also, number C, he says was being maintained. Chair, how do you measure maintenance? Is it one-time rent? Is it a package of sugar? You can't qualify all this. So you drop this.
Okay, Honorable Miriam, we will have 2 others, and we must make progress. Yes, Honorable Miriam.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, first I request that you may protect me from the Kisumu politics. Please protect me from the Kisumu and
Is that by Elisha? Order members.
Kisumu and Siaya politics is interfering with my contribution.
Well, I don't see Kisumu politics. I see some 2 members there. Maybe that's what you refer as Kisumu politics. But Honorable Miri, please proceed.
Mr. Speaker, before I speak to the substance, there's a way in which the moving of this thing is a bit confusing, the way Kaluma has done. But I want members to be very clear. I think sometimes we are the ones who pass the law, and then we don't understand the law that we have passed. Mr. Speaker, let me just indicate, if with your permission, let me just remove this so I'm clearer. Under the Marriage Act 2014 of the laws of Kenya, you can marry in 4 different ways. Mr. Speaker, you can marry if you go to the office of the Attorney General or in church. You can marry under Islamic law. You can marry under customary law. You can marry under Hindu law. And you can marry under cohabitation. And I want to explain to you. It is say in interpretation section of section 2 of the Marriage Act, cohabit means to live in an arrangement with an unmarried couple, where an unmarried couple lives together in long-term relationship that resembles a marriage. It is legal. So what this law seeks, and I want to declare, Ms. Chairman, that I am not a cohabitee. I am a first wife married in church, but I will defend the rights of women who are cohabiting with other men who will be left suffering with other children, because it becomes our responsibility. In law, Chairman, we have protected cohabitation, not girlfriends, not slave queens, not people who emerge at funerals declaring their wives when they were not staying. When you are cohabited consistently with a man of a reasonable period of time, then you are a wife. What we need to agree as a house, because the Marriage Act did not put it, because members didn't agree, is how long is that period. For me, what Honorable Kaluma is suggesting for 3 years is okay. If you have stayed with a man for 3 years, you are not selling mangoes. You are living as a man and wife.
Okay, very well. I'm deliberately giving a few more members on this one because I can tell the interest. Honorable Manje, I'll come this way. Honorable Manje, we'll give like 2 other members, then we'll make progress on this one.
Thank you, Chair. I think also when it comes to serious cohabitation, it should be given enough time. 3 years is just a short time for a serious cohabitation. To avoid games that are being played on the ground, it is better we detain 7 or we forget about these crowds.
Yes, Honorable Udo. briefly.
Chair,
Remember, this is not second reading.
I want to
appeal. Committee of the whole. So just briefly.
Yes, sure. Yes, Chair, I want to appeal to my colleagues that if we don't carry this amendment, we'll return the amendment that is in the published bill, which is so fake, which is so imprecise. Anybody from anywhere will rise up and claim to be a dependent or a wife or anything like that. Cohabitation is known and accepted in the Marriage Act. We are simply carrying that into this Law of Succession Act. So I urge my colleagues, let's consider the 3 years that have been proposed, which is a reasonable time and happens quite often all over this country.
Okay.
Let us not hide under pretending we don't know.
Honorable Kadri. Honorable Kadri.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable Kaluma, we have been working with him very closely on this bill. But allow me, Chair, to disagree with Honorable Kaluma on a few things. And probably we should be introducing an amendment on top of another amendment. And on these grounds, Clause 3, 2B reading is reputed by the family of the deceased as having been such cohabitation. The history of Africans, you know the way they behave. Even a woman who is legally married, your family will always be the first people to throw you and your children and your properties outside. And for that reason, that is why we are saying, if you want to protect the interests of your mipango ya kando and all those things, come out clear here without the approval of anybody. The approver is the one who approves at night. That man who approves and who stamp at 9 should be the approver even during the day, and in his absence should be, and not a situation of whereby you are subjecting women to ridicule in the society and families.
Honorable Miri, information to who? Honorable, do you need the information from Honorable Miri?
At the cafeteria, thank you.
Not here, okay. Honorable members, let's make progress really on this one, because we must make progress. Honorable members, Honorable Opondo Kaluma, before I put the question, please.
Yeah, honorable members, I know we are at the committee of the whole house, and I thank you, Chair, for the indulgence, because this is a very important bill affecting society and the family. Honorable Millie, you'll inform me. Just a minute, I explain to them. So, honorable members, first, unlike the position of the law now, we have defined spouse, which has been abused, to mean anybody who claims to have been, depending on you, to mean to have the meaning assigned to it to the word husband and wife under the Marriage Act. So we have made a restriction there. In terms of the other clauses, I've essentially repeated what is in the current law. Now, when this matter was debated, honorable members, I beg you, and an most honorable body, because it was not there at the second reading, issues were raised about sub-clause 2, which I was amending. Because if you look at it, it says that anybody who can prove the deceased was maintaining them for a period of 2 years prior to the deceased's death will qualify to be a dependent. And this is opening a floodgates again. So essentially, Honorable Speaker, Honorable Mbadi is saying we delete. But we are Africans. Please let me explain to you, Mbadi.
Proceed. Honorable Pondo, proceed.
Yeah, the problem is that...
No, proceed. Yes.
We are Africans.
Consulting.
Honorable Speaker, like myself, my mother is wedded in church, but we are in a polygamous family. It would necessarily qualify as bigamy, but these stepmothers of mine live with my mom in the same compound. Can we wake up because of this law of succession to say they are disentitled completely? And this is affecting even members here. So what we agreed is that if cohabitation, what Honorable Speaker we call marriage by reputation under the Evidence Act, can be established, and there is evidence of maintenance, and these people who are reputed by the families, not friends they can crop as married people, then they should have some leeway. And maybe I caution the members that you reject this improvement based on the presentations which were made here. We revert to the earlier situation where anybody can claim. So I beg you support.
Honorable members, I will put the question. Honorable members, I will put the question. I put the question that clause 3 be amended as proposed by the Honorable Kaluma. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The nays have it. Honorable members, I now put the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. This is not now on the amendment. Honorable members, I will put the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The nays have it. Order members. Yes, what is it? I hope members know that particular clause, that putting the question, order members, because it is important. I can tell members are quite excited around the discussion around this clause, but it is important to follow what I am putting. On the first one, let me just take you slowly so that members you carry along everyone. What we did on the first question is that what Honorable Kaluma had proposed as amendment was rejected. That means we go back to what is in Honorable Kaluma's bill without the amendment. So that is what now that we go back to what is now in the bill. What is now in the bill now? The amendment is rejected. We go back to what is now in the bill, but I need to put the question now so that it remains as it is. So that members, it is important to carry. I can tell there's a bit of excitement on that, and I will take the liberty. To put the question, that question again in light of what I have explained. Honorable members. Yes, what is it, Honorable?
Just confused, if you could help me. I do not. Chair, I do not know whether I'm the only one who is getting confused. I was of the view that we were dealing with a further amendment that Honorable Kaluma brought in the middle of things, because he had a written one which was saying 7 years. Then he rose to say that now he would prefer 3 months. Was 3 months or something? 3 years. So in my view, we were dealing with that further amendment. After we are through with that further amendment, now we go to what Kaluma is proposing. That was my thinking. Then we go to what Honorable Kaluma, would you, through Mr. Chairman?
No, proceed. You are speaking to me. Proceed.
Yes, Mr. Chair. He is very excited.
Honorable Bodo Kaluma is quite excited this afternoon.
He is extremely excited.
Honorable Bodo Kaluma, it is important to listen to what Honorable TJ Kajong, although I'll give directions.
So in terms of record, I thought we were dealing with a further amendment of 7 years to 3 years. Then after that 3 years, which we now have agreed that now we are talking about, that amendment has been defeated, meaning that we are in 7 years. So it is the 7 years that now, Mr. Chair, you then can put the question to us whether we accede to that amendment or not, and then we go to the bill. So I'm getting confused. I don't know if, Chair, you could give guidance on this.
Order. There is no point of order of another point of order. Let me explain. So that members, Honorable TJ Kajwang has raised, it is important. And I can tell the excitement. Just for a minute, just listen to what I say on this one, especially on what Honorable TJ Kajwang has raised. Now, what was in the order paper by Opodo Kaluma, when he rose, even without moving it, actually said and indicated, it is on record, that he would like to move it in the amended form. Honorable TJ Kajwang, if you read standing order number 48, it allows the speaker to give that member to move it in the amended form. That is what I did. And when the Honorable Kaluma moved and the members discussed, debated, I put the question, and that was rejected in totality. In effect, what that means, Honorable Nyikal, please listen first. Now, in effect, what that means is that the amendments in totality, what Oporto Kaluma had raised, have fallen. What that means now, we go back now to the provisions that are in the bill, clause 3. And so, because clause 3 are already in the bill, the question I put is a global question, that the clause 3 be part of the bill. And for that reason, I'm going to put that question again. That clause 3, which is already in the bill, that it be part of, clause 3 be part of the bill. So, and that is very important. Members, I will, what is it, Majority Leader?
No,
what is it?
I wish members, let's move in some systematic order. Because, because there are two issues, Honorable Chair.
Yes, proceed, Majority Leader.
And just so that we don't throw the baby with the bathwater, if you look at the amendment by Honorable Kaluma, has actually two parts. There is the 1 and 2, right? And it will be good for this House to pronounce itself in terms of those, because they are very distinct. They are not together. If you look at what's within the part 1, the A1, it's basically cleaning up the bill by itemizing the same issue which nobody has a problem with. When you go to 2, 2 is the one that's bringing in this issue of the other dependents. But on 1, it's talking of the parents, the stepchildren and all that, and making it neater in terms of how they qualify. In the absence of the children, what happens? In the absence of children and
order, Majority Leader. Before you proceed,
I would propose.
I hope you are not referring to the amendments.
No, I would propose.
I hope you are not referring to the amendments because the House has already resolved on the amendments.
Oh, I see.
What we are dealing with is now what is in the bill.
Oh, fine.
Yeah, okay. We have already. The House has already moved. So, honourable members, I will put the question now. What is in the bill? Clause 3. Honourable members, I will put the question that clause 3 be part of the bill. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The nays have it.
Clause 2.
Honorable members, all the members, I'll propose a question. I will propose a question that clause 2 be part of the bill. We are now moved from clause 3. Now we are in clause 2. Honorable members, I will propose a question that clause 2 be part of the bill. There are no amendments to that. I therefore put the question that clause 2 be part of the bill. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Title.
Honorable members, I propose a question that the title be the title of the bill, and there is no amendment to it. I therefore put the question that the title be the title of the bill. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
Clause 1.
Honorable members, I propose a question that clause 1 be part of the bill. We have no amendment to that as well. I therefore put the question that clause 1 be part of the bill. With as many as of that opinion say aye. With as many as of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it. Honorable members. Honorable members, we are done with that bill. Mover. Where is Oporto Kaluma? Honorable Oporto, the mover. Honorable Oporto Kaluma, this is quite a movement. You are quite excited this afternoon and quite nomadic.
Honorable Speaker,
Honorable Chair, I thank you.
No, it's about the moving, the reporting.
Where is the thing for reporting? Where is the thing for reporting? Give it to me. Yes, Honorable Speaker, I beg to report to the Committee of the Whole House.
No, that is the top one. You're moving. Reporting.
Yes, Honorable Chairperson, I beg to move that the committee do report to the House its consideration of the Law of Succession Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2019, and its approval thereof. There is no amendment. And its approval thereof. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Honorable members, I put the question which is that the committee do report to the House's consideration of the Law of Succession Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2019, and its approval thereof without amendments. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it.
Honorable members, Mr. Speaker.
So, okay, move, Chairperson.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, I beg to report to the Committee of the Whole House. I beg to report that the Committee of the Whole House has considered the Law of Succession Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2019, and approved the same without amendments.
Order members. Honorable, no, the mover of the bill. Honorable Karuma.
Honorable Speaker, I beg to, this is to report.
The mover of the bill. For the House to agree.
Yes, Honorable Speaker, I beg to move that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. I also request Honorable Nyikal to second the motion for agreement with the report of the Committee of the Whole House.
Honorable Nyikal.
I second.
Honorable members, I propose a question which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Order, Honorable Catherine. Order. Honorable members, I put the question which is that the House do agree with the committee in the said report. Will as many as are of that opinion say aye? Aye. Will as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay? Nay. The ayes have it. Mover. Honorable Karuma, there, I clearly can tell this is an afternoon for you. The excitement.
Honorable Speaker, sir, I beg to move that the Law of Succession Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2019, be now read a third time. I also request Honorable Nyikal to second.
As I second, let me just say that people didn't really understand the full meaning, but I second, but what it means is actually you have gone to the Marriage Act, and that's what the Marriage Act defines, is what it is. So to a large extent, that is basically what the House, I second.
Yes, this afternoon has been quite something, especially on this bill, particularly by Honorable Kaluma. Honorable members, I propose a question which is that the law of succession amendment bill, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2019, be now read at that time. I can tell there are a number of members who would like to speak to this. It will be good. Honorable, let's start with Honorable TJ Kajwang.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much. When we were in committee, and sometimes it occurs, members sometimes get a little carried away and sometimes also overly excited. But sometimes we do it to the extent that we may overreach what we had intended in the legislative proposal. I do not know where we really are right now as we are passing this legislation. I'm waiting for the vellum copy to read and to understand where we are, whether slave queens have all fallen down, or whether there is a protection that slave queens, both in the house and outside, can take refuge to. But I have a lot of sympathy for slave queens. I naturally have a lot of sympathy for slave queens, because these are people, some of them have invested emotionally on their families. And I would have, member for Homa Bay through the speaker, and member for Suba South. You see, Mr. Speaker, I would have thought that we had intended to save them from this trajectory. But I will have to read the vellum copy to know exactly where we are so far as the slave queens are concerned. I thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Well, I'll have two other members and then we'll make progress. Let's have a member who has then spoken. Honorable Savula.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me the opportunity. Mr. Speaker, I'm grateful that this House has debated the succession amendment bill. It has been a hot debate, but I want to sound a warning. As a polygamist, I have 3 wives. This thing is the best to sort out the mess in a polygamous family. Mr. Speaker, when men go out there impregnating women, do you understand the implication after that? I like my Speaker of the Senate, Honorable Lusaka. You spoke like a man. I stand by you. You said you admit that that child belongs to you. If it's Savula, I'll also admit. Mr. Speaker, we have done a wonderful job, and I want to congratulate members who have debated on this. We have given Kenyans a clear way of sorting out the mess during the succession in courts. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Okay, yes, well, the minority leader who gets priority wants to speak. Honorable Band.
Mr. Speaker, now I'm happy. I've looked at the bill where we are now. I'm happy because you have gone back to Marriage Act. Even if we kill this bill now, there is still the Marriage Act. So now that we have recognized spouse as defined in the Marriage Act, we pass. And Mr. Speaker, I want to respond to Honorable Savula. You don't need to go to court and go to the media to announce your children. No one deserves congratulations for accepting his children in the media and in the court. Accept your children without being asked. We accept our children without being asked. If you have sired children, make sure you accept them without anyone asking you. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Yeah, member for Kwanza.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. Speaker, I want to make a correction here. I want to make a correction. You know, we have passed this motion, this bill, but I want Honorable Kaluma to come back. Given the reaction of the people here, I think you did not do your homework properly. Yeah, so I want you to come back and do this thing again, because I think you had a very good intention. People have misunderstood what you wanted to do. Because Mr. Speaker, if somebody, there are so many marriages. There's customer marriages, what have you. If you want to marry, you marry. And at the same time, if you have the children out there, and you know, most of you, like somebody has just mentioned, people have got children out there, but it's good to be able to accept the children as they are, other than now hiding yourself under this marriage act. I want Honorable Kaluma to go back, and given the reaction of the people here, including myself, to come back with a better amendment.
Okay.
We can be able to look at this. Thank you.
Okay, member, why don't we have two members? Then this is barely that reading. So let me start with Honorable Miri, then come here, then Majority Leader, we close it.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for giving me this opportunity. Mr. Speaker, actually, the main reason I came this afternoon is because of this bill. And Mr. Speaker, I know many of us have concentrated on the issue of the 7 and 3 years. What we have done, in effect, is we have dropped clause 3 of the amendment by Kaluma and retained 1 and 2. And 1 and 2 basically defines a spouse as per the Marriage Act, which includes people who are cohabiting, and that we have left to the court, and the courts will determine the number of years. So we have actually given that authority which we could have set here. Okay. But Mr. Speaker, there's one significant thing that I regret that we did not pass. Mr. Speaker, sometimes in our excitement we forget very useful things. The main reason that I was actually here is 29C of the original act that Kaluma was dropping, that says where the deceased was a woman, her husband, if he was being maintained by her immediately prior to the death of her death. This was actually favorable to our men. Why must we talk about equality as women, and when it is equality to the men, we are opposing, and I'm shocked. It is the men opposing equality to men. What is the matter with you men? Honorable, when you see Honorable Mbadi moving all over, sometimes he forgets to look at things which are even significant for men. It is not just about cohabitation. This would have said that even if your wife was supporting you before you are dead, while you are alive, you don't have to prove. But right now, it means it's one way. We need to balance. So we have actually missed a very important amendment in our excitement. I encourage Honorable Kaluma to bring it again, and I will support him. Thank you.
Okay. Well, honorable members, this is that reading, really. We had second reading, we had committee of the whole, and we also have other business, honorable members. Yeah, why don't you allow us to make progress, really? Yeah, but Honorable Sankok, Saturday I cannot give you when the majority wants to speak. Majority must speak first. Majority Leader.
Thank you. Thank you. Honorable Speaker, I think the Honorable Miri Odhiambo has explained very well that, because I know at times we get excited, and when we are voting, we actually are not quite sure what we are voting for. Because listening to Honorable Savula, I think we are talking about totally different things. And I think the importance of what the only thing left in this bill to vote for is the definition of spouse, and which is a good definition. So I just want to appeal to the House that we bring down the emotions, we support at least the good thing we agree, and when we make progress.
Order member for Kwanza. Honorable members, I have confirmed we have numbers here and the holding press. I therefore put the question, which is at the House, the Law of Succession Amendment Bill, National Assembly Bill number 75 of 2019 be now read at that time. With as many as are of that opinion say aye. Aye. With as many as are of the contrary opinion say nay. The ayes have it.
A bill for an act of parliament to amend the Law of Succession Act.
Next order.
Order number 12, the Sugar Bill, National Assembly Bill number 68 of 2019, second reading.
Honorable members, this is a resumption of debate that was interrupted on Thursday. Not on Thursday, but on Thursday, yes. Thursday, July 1st, 2021. And we had on 6 minutes, a balance of 6 minutes. You have the floor for your 6 minutes. Honorable Muhanda. Give Honorable Muhanda the mic.
Nissan Serena ndio hii, na unaweza kuwa wewe ndio tunapikia simu. Kodi ya Nissan Serena ni NS, alafu kisha kwenye amount ni 50 bob. Hii Nissan Serena tunakupatia na shilingi 50.
Kujiunga na QuickBid ni rahisi. Enda kwenye M-Pesa, bonyeza paybill, kisha weka business number 4032353. Kwenye account weka kodi ya bidhaa unayotaka na bid yako ya chini zaidi. Kwa mfano TV 16, kisha weka shilingi 20 tu kama idadi yako. Weka bid yako pia kwenye www.quickbid.co.ke. Kumbuka, bid ya chini zaidi ya kipekee ndio hununua. QuickBid, bidhaa bora kwa bei ya chini.
From my father's house to the land I will show you. God, give me the strength to do what I must.
Abraham, do not harm your child. For now I know that you fear God, seeing that you've not withheld your son.
What does this number mean to you? A pack leader? A winner? Or just a number? To us, it means freshness, boldness, vibrancy, and heritage. That's why at KBC Channel 1, we make it easier for you to pop up your family entertainment to a fresh, exciting, and colorful bouquet.
Beautiful girl on my side. Be here for your man, ain't no need for the talk. Baby girl, I'm a sucker for your love. And you know I'ma fight for your love. For your love, for your love. What a girl want, what a girl need. A real man with a bad thing. What a girl want, what a girl need. A real man with a good will. She magical, she magical, she magical, she magical.
mission. I pull up quicker to Ibiza. Mama, you should know man's on a mission. I pull up quicker to Ibiza. And you know now that I got a keys, yeah. I pull up quicker to Ibiza. Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Why they lie, I'm they high. I got the brains and the ability to hide. Man they mind, man they cry. I got the money and the ability to fly. This is only for my Navy strip. To be honest, all the chimps don't get comfortable. I just packed in my shin, Benny later Ferrari. Got up by me, my car, it's a Lego for nutty. Pay a big pair strip, I buy a ball for